From the Carolinas, where the black and blue runs deep. Panther Pickle's on the mic, no secrets that he'll keep. Been here since day one, through the glory and the pain. Got opinions sharper than a linebacker's campaign. If you can't handle truth, well, buddy, here's the deal. Shut the hell up. That's how Pickle keeps it real. It's time to deal with it. Every Sunday we ride.
All right, folks, today I'm going to give to you a little bit of my opinions on the center position of the Carolina Panthers. Some of y'all say, Pickle, we don't want to hear about how great Cade Mays is. Well, good, because you ain't going to hear it. All right? Oh, I'm going to give you an unbiased, unfiltered. I'm going to look at the draft centers in the draft and free agents. Just stay tuned. But right now, let me introduce my boys. Diesel Skills, my friend. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Pickle. Just glad to be a part of another episode of Deal With It. We're already up to episode 15. If you missed episode 14, make sure you go back and check it out. It was a fantastic episode that we had last week. It was awfully popular. We need your like to share and subscribe. And stay tuned to the Blue and Black Attack through each and every episode we have, whether it's Deal With It, the Cold Show, the Brotherhood Invaders, or maybe some other type of video we may come out with. So anyway, I'm pumped up for tonight, Pickle. We need to talk about this offensive line. This is a serious discussion. If we don't do the right thing on this offensive line, Pickle, it could be complete disaster for not only Bryce Young next season, but for the entire Carolina Panthers team.
Absolutely, because Bryce Young kept us afloat. We don't really know who the backup's going to be, quarterback-wise. So if you expect a mid-round rookie to come in day one and start, you're probably not going to get that. So then, you're going to get some trash heap off a corner. You could walk out with a serious injury to your starting quarterback, and the entire season goes downhill. And I got news for folks. Everybody likes, or a lot of people like Dave and all that. But if we only win one game or less games next year, y'all fooling yourself. You think everybody's coming back. Mr. Tepper will open them doors and say adios to a whole bunch of coaches and a whole bunch of players. Jake, tell me what you think, brother.
No, I completely agree. I'm happy to be here on another episode. Deal with it. We got free agency in less than 2 weeks now, so we're gonna have a lot more to talk about then. But we always find something to talk about on the show. I'm excited, and as always, y'all keep pounding. Let's get to it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Michael Wardrick, in the chat. Appreciate you, brother. And Cole, my friend, are you ready for us? How you doing?
I am fighting some technical difficulties, but I have made it. I'm glad to be here with you. I'm glad to be talking about one of my favorite positions in football, one I played throughout my childhood. I'm really looking forward to the center conversation tonight, my friend. There's a lot of different ways we can go with this.
Absolutely, that is true. So before we go any further, I want to look real quick at the free agent position centers. As soon as I get pulled up in the right hole. All right.
We know who Jake wants.
Oh, I might be right there with it.
Well, Tyler Linderbaum is still under heavy negotiation with the Ravens. They've got a new coach, so you never know. You really never know. He is an elite top 10 center. If you're going to pay anybody top dollar money in free agency at the center position, this is the guy to do it. Young, extremely talented centers like this don't drop in free agency often. That's just my opinion, though. And listen, I really don't think he's in Panthers' price range, but I also don't think I still not certain he'll hit free agency really. But the Baltimore Ravens has got a load of cap problems, so he may hit free agency. If he does, the Panthers should at least pick up the phone and call. What do you think, Jake?
No, I completely agree, and I mean, I'd argue that top 10's a little low. I'd put him top five overall in the league. I mean, you can go top three. I mean, the dude's elite. I mean, I believe he's a better run blocker than pass blocker protection.
Right,
But I mean, he can do both of them. He is a smaller center at 6'2". But hey, we got a smaller quarterback. I think it
right,
benefits him. I've said that, and people make a joke about it, but I do think he's an elite center. I think he would be great for us. I know the price tag might be too much for us to handle, but like you said, I mean, I would be kind of mad if we don't at least pick up the phone for him just to have a conversation.
right. And again, folks, this information is brought to you by SpoutedTrack.com. So you really ought to go check that website out. It's a very handy website. Gives you all the information you know about contracts for the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, and a whole lot more. The one that I was kind of shocked to be listed here was the center for the Falcons, Drew Dallaman, who's they've got as an athletic, high level run blocker. Um, he's not on my ballpark, but what do y'all think?
I was thinking the same thing you were. I'm like, I don't think that highly of that guy.
Right,
Maybe a
I'm,
high level run blocker, but we're looking for somebody that's good in the passing game as well. So
right,
that's not something I think that we'd be interested in with all the money that we've invested into guards.
right.
I think we need a good all around guy. Cade Mays has been solid for us.
Yep,
I understand a lot of people don't like the money it would take to retain him, but we don't know what money it would take. We don't know how happy he is here, and that he might take a team friendly deal. And
right, exactly.
I'm
And
sure they're
I
going
can't
to offer him one, and
I
we'll
can't
find out
believe
if a
he's
guy
not
like
on this
Drew is
list.
somebody that we
yeah,
end up scrapping.
well, Jake, a lot of sites still hit list him at guard or tackle, where he's played multiple positions. A couple
Hmm.
sites even listed Brady Christensen as a center, and he ain't played center in 2 years, but
No.
they still list him as center. So, a lot of these sites, when you move an offensive lineman around a lot, they don't really list them at their last position. They list them at just the position they entered the league at. So, um,
But at the very least, though, I will list him at the best position he plays as, and I
well, I
don't think
would.
there's an argument. I think he's a way better center than right guard, which he play as.
Right. I agree. I agree. Look at who dropped to join us. Hello, Kyle. What's up, bro?
How we doing,
Haven't had to
guys?
do that in a while. What's up, buddy?
Dropping in on
Yep.
a wild Monday that I just happened to be off, and our schedules lined up. Man, it's awesome. I'm super excited to be here,
I'm glad you're
Right.
here, Kyle.
chatting it up with y'all. I haven't been too active in the Panthers. Obviously, it's basketball season, so
Right.
uh, I don't
Them Hornets are
catch
doing all
me up
right.
here.
Them
Yes, they
Hornets are
are. They're on a
doing all right.
tear.
Yep. Yeah.
They're on a tear. I love them.
Well, we were talking about the center position, and a lot of us want Cade Mays, but from the understanding of a Joe Person article, and I've heard Mike Kay talk about this, the Panthers will likely let him test free agent with the deal on the table. Like, okay, here's our deal. You go see if you can't beat that deal. That's I've known
Right.
them to do that as success and failures. So, but go on down the list. Connor McGovern's 28 years old. He has experience at center and guard. I really expect him to rejoin the Bills. I don't want to spend too much time on him, Connor. Uh, Tyler Linderbaum, we discussed. He's an elite center. Very rare to find those guys hit free agency. So, if you spend money on him, you're going to break your bank. Um,
Yeah, I would agree with you, Pickle. I think, just in my opinion, we're spending big money on Lewis, big money on Hunt.
right,
We've got Taylor Moton is on a contract year, and Icky's out. So we already know we have to fill a hole. So I would either, I think you have to sign a tackle or a center, and then you have to draft the opposite one, or draft both. You know what I
That's a
mean?
good take.
well, it's a
So
lot of that. I think is going to revert to how they view Icky. is
Yeah.
if they expect, they're supposed to know. Dan Morgan is going to speak at the combine. All GMs have opportunity to speak and coaches at the combine. My understanding, Dan Morgan is going to speak about on that tomorrow, or he's going to speak at the combine. Him and Dave Canales, and if they do speak, and I can listen, we'll listen to it. What we should understand a little bit maybe where Icky's at, but Icky had his surgery, so we're kind of waiting to determine how long it takes him back. But if they're planning to keep him around, or they're planning for him to rejoin the team, I don't expect them to sign a high profile tackle or even draft
Right.
one high enough that it's going to affect. Uh, yeah, I really, Josh Nyman, I expect them to re-sign him. That's not my first opportunity, the guy, but I expect that. But back on center, the guy Ethan Pollock, a veteran that was played for the Browns last year, is a guy that I think the Panthers are going to go after. But I just read something and I did not know this. He had surgery in December on the ACL.
Mm.
So if he may be a situation where uh he he was a guy I thought if you draft one, that's a veteran you sign. Pollock has experience with all the three guys on our team that are in charge of our offense. Dave Canales, uh, Brad Izik. I forgot the other one. What's his name?
Dan Morgan.
No, not Dan. We got experience with Dan, but the former offensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks that has joined the Panthers as an
Oh,
assistant head
Daryl.
coach.
Daryl
Daryl
Bevel.
Double Bevel, right. So anyway, that's the guy I thought, hey, they may talk to him, find out his injury is looking pretty good, and still bring him in. That's possible. They could opt to bring Austin Corbett back at a small deal as a vet center and just as a depth guy. That's possible too. Or even Brady Christensen, who's played center. Not necessarily. Hello, Carolina Panther guy. How are you doing, bro? Uh, Not necessarily. But like I
Oh,
said, none of these guys on this roster scream at me to go spend average money. Tyler Linderbaum tells me I need to break the bank on him. But if I do that, then
Yeah.
I'm absolutely done in free agency. Probably in the
Yeah.
hole already. I'm probably going to have to cut some people to afford it. I'll rework a
Pickle,
bunch
let
of
me ask you
contracts.
this question because it's the perfect time to do it right now.
Okay.
Is Ike Ekwanu's injury, is that going to ruin any chance of us getting Tyler? Because it's starting to feel like it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Gonna hinder it.
If
Yeah.
you paid Tyler, you're probably not playing Icky this year. Paying Icky this year.
Yeah.
Chances are, if you
You're gonna
get
push it.
Tyler, you're going to have to rework a bunch of contracts, and more than likely, you're going to lose some of your free agents you wanted to keep around, and some of the
Yep.
free agents you're eyeing to sign, you're not going to sign.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Like Devin Lloyd.
Yeah, I mean that he completely off the table for Linderbaum.
I mean,
I
I
mean
don't.
completely.
Ah.
I don't know
Uh,
much about the injury with Icky. I know it
It
varies
ain't
depending on.
good.
Well, I know it varies on the person more so the injury as well because I mean everybody heals different. Icky is relatively still young. I think he's what 26 at that. He's around there, so I mean he is a guy that's going to heal a lot faster than a guy who's over 30 that would have the same injury. I would expect. Uh, I think the best case scenario for Icky that we would all hope is that he would heal and be ready after what 4 weeks of the regular season. I think would be the best case scenario,
Mhm.
because I don't think I truly don't believe he'll be ready by week one. I don't see it happening. But like I just said, I mean, people heal
Right.
differently. I hope nothing for the best. The dude was great in my opinion. I thought he had a very solid year. I don't care what people say about. I think he improved on his pass protection. I know that was the one thing that we all talked about
Hmm.
was his pass protection. And sometimes he did get a little bit handsy and he would get called for a flag, but I think he got
Right.
better on that as well. So I mean, best case scenario, we keep Icky. He stays
Right.
healthy for the rest of his career, and he just works out for the best of not only him but as our team as well.
Right. Exactly. I would definitely honestly I would definitely plan to keep Icky. I really would because he's a guy that's locally. He's kind of homegrown. He loves the organization. He's tried real hard to get better, and he has gotten better. Y'all got one thing I often criticize Panther fans, and I'll do it here too. Panther fans aren't really Panther fans aren't really known for their patience to let a player develop. If you don't go from 6th round pick to stud in 1 year, you a bust. That's just the way Panther fans
We
have it in their head.
we are talking about an NC State tackle though.
Well, that it don't really matter that. I mean, let's don't. Cade Mays was on this team. He's entered his year 4. He was cut once. So does he have the Panthers? No. Was he liked when they cut him? Evidently not. They cut him. But at the same time, when they had a need, he was the first guy they went and got off the Giants practice squad. Came in here and started at center and hasn't looked back, and he's done great. Sometimes the best thing you can do for a player is basically say, hey, you're not good enough right now. To make him look on the inside, make him dig deep where that spot that he forgot was down in his gut to make him practice harder, to play harder, to study harder. That's to me, that's called development. The Panther fans
Right.
are not willing to let guys develop. People want to dump Icky his first year, his right after his rookie year. They said he. So I mean, right now, people's ready to throw uh 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 one of the wide receivers out the door we just drafted in the 1st round last year. Panther fans do not have patience. Let's be real. Right now, a lot of folks want to break the bank on an edge rusher in free agency. We have to. Why? Because we don't have the patience to let them 2 young guys develop. They both could. Here's the way teams do that. Okay, you're going to let one to develop. The other, you're going to put him on the back burner, tell him he ain't good enough to develop. Yes, he's going to have to wait a couple years. Okay, fine. You pay a high dollar to a guy. Free agency comes. You've got 2 stud free agents. Shut up, tablet. Piss me off.
Just leave. Yep.
Yeah, so you got 2 stud. So Princely will drift off in free agency with spite for the Panthers because they refuse to let him have an ample starting experience. And what happens? He goes somewhere else and becomes a superstar. Maybe for a
Yep.
division rival who he torments us for twice a year, every year. So, I
Yep.
mean, it's happened.
Yeah.
We were developing a linebacker by the name of A.J. Klein. And we decided through the infinite wisdom of a general manager, we were going to draft somebody for a different guy who we was planning to let walk, but that guy took a lower contract. So we ended up having to let A.J. Klein go for Shaq Thompson and keep an old man, uh, uh, Thomas Davis. So what happened to A.J. Klein? He went and signed a big contract with the Saints to torment the Panthers twice a year. This, like I said, we've been here before. It's the chances for the Panther fans to suck it up and let these guys develop and let them
Yeah.
have an opportunity to develop. And I'm
Uh,
not saying you don't go get an edge rusher, but understand you get a gentleman that you're going to sign for 2 years, let him let let Princely develop behind him and Scorton, and let's happen what happens. That
Yeah.
the guy in a situation where, like I think they're doing Tommy Tremble. They re-signed Tommy Tremble to a 2 or 3 year deal. Then they've drafted 2 tight ends back-to-back drafts. Why? They want these young talents to develop behind a vet, and when the time's right, they're going to let Tommy walk out in free agency. Why? Because they're going to have Sanders and Mitch Evans, who's developed strong enough that they can walk out and be a starter. So I still don't think
Yep.
the Panthers are outright going to go out and sign a high dollar tight end just because Panther fans are kicking and screaming for it. The same Panther fans say you have to draft a tight end to develop him. You won't let him develop. So why the hell you used to start him? Decide draft him. Not
No,
Pickle,
everybody
so
gets
am I
drafted.
underselling that need? Because I don't understand the need for a tight end whatsoever in
No, I
Carolina
I
right now.
think I think
No.
a majority of Panther fans out there screaming for a tight end are
I'm in the minority in that.
are watching everybody else having success in tight ends without realizing you got to let them develop. And I know,
what
and I chatted with Anthony today. He said, "Well, Trimble or Evan, neither one of us had a 300-yard career. Well, because we ain't throw to them that much. And let's be
No,
real. How many times did we watch film and games where these tight ends are running wide open down the field? Do they get a ball thrown to them? Nope. We're going to throw it to Xavier Legette for 5 yard on third and 10. We're going to throw a 5-yard hitch to Xavier Legette for him to drop it. Yeah,
and you
that's
know what that
intelligent
is,
ball.
Pickle. And I'm not shitting on Bryce, but that's just easier. A read that is easier for any quarterback, especially a shorter quarterback. Your
Right,
outside throws, you're not going to throw the ball in the
right.
box. There's fucking 8 people there,
And
and you can barely see over the line of
and
scrimmage.
when your rookie tight end is 15 yards down the field, wide open, and you miss him, so fans could say we need to get a better tight end. No, we need to get
No,
somebody who will look downfield and spot the quarterback and throw the ball to the open receiver, regardless of who it is. And if the
I
Yeah.
think we
quarterback
need better
needs
route runners. We got a few, but we need some more.
right, but if the quarterback needs extra time in the pocket,
Oh,
then
absolutely.
you
We're
strengthen
dead.
that offensive line.
Everybody knows that's where it
And
starts.
right in the
We're
last few
dead.
years, you guys tell me I'm wrong. Kyle, you guys tell me
Mhm.
I'm wrong, Jake. The last few years, we've been using our tight ends for more blocking than pass
And they've been
catching,
doing a
correct?
good job of it. They've
Hell,
been doing
there
good of.
was there was there was so many different sets last year and the year before where Brady Christensen walked out there as an eligible receiver and
Right.
lined up as tight end and did
Just to block.
blocking. Like there was
Yes,
so many
exactly.
different formations
So the
just to
concept
block.
of right. And me and Jake has talked about it before. You know, if our head coach wants to do away with the run first and go out there and pass the ball first, fine, go get you a team to do that. To change the team, go get you a team. Come out and say we're going to be a balanced attack. If we can run, if we can run, if we're going to pass, we're going to pass. Call it that and go out there and do that. Call the offense that he wants to call. Don't mishmash and call an offense that you don't really want to call. Tell everybody else you're going to do this and you really ain't going to do it. That's 90% of the issues along with this offense. There's too much
He needs
mishmash.
to he needs to run his offense. I don't look. We've said many a times that our offensive line is more for run blocking than pass protection, and
Right,
I'll agree to that. But at the same time, I don't think that should change the way you want to run your offense. You can
right.
say that our offense is built to run, but if you truly want to pass the football, then you're going to have to build this offense up to be that way. Don't second guess yourself. If you have to change that way, there's going to be some growing pains. But use preseason for that. You messed up last season by not playing your starters like you want to get this offense in a rhythm. You didn't do it enough. You have to grow as a head coach. You're going to have to do what you want to do. Get comfortable in your offense. Don't do what you don't want to do. Do what you have to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now we're going to look at a few rookie tight ends. Or no, excuse me, messed that one up. A few rookie centers. Uh, and again, I'm not focusing on tackle because I need to know about Icky. I need to know
Right.
if Icky's going to miss the whole year, then it does affect on what you do as if your option. You know, if yeah,
I,
I
s-
just
I
if
still think they need to draft a tackle.
I think they
what
need to do
no
it
I
Hey,
early.
I
that Brian,
I,
look,
I
even though he went to Duke, that Brian Parker the
right,
second dude, that he reminds me of Brady Christian, but better. And
yeah
I'm telling you,
I
that dude is a guy to watch out for.
I tell you who he reminds me of.
Even though
There's
he
a
went to the best basketball school in the nation,
right.
I hear you, Jake.
Oh, here we go.
There was a guy. There
Here we
was a
go.
guy that our brother Diesel Skills was high on last year that actually played guard, and they switched him at center in the Senior Bowl. He looked good. Got drafted by the Tampa Bay Bucks early uh, in the first round, anyway. And if I'm not mistaken, he's their starting center. So that's who he reminds me of. But you look at Connor Liu is considered the best prospect in this draft. But I want to be fair, y'all. None of these guys, there doesn't look to be a first round center in this whole draft. All these guys are projected to go late in the second, or in the second, or later. And if you
That
look, if you
season-ending ACL bothers me.
Yeah, in October 2025. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, you know, honestly, he may be in the third round for that, but it also is an area to look out for in the combine itself. Um, Technique, consistency. Jake Slaughter, that's that guy Jake was talking about. Jake, I always like Jake. He's the most NFL ready due to his smart play and ability to use angles to neutralize large rushers. Um, then you got a Logan Jones from Iowa. Y'all, you can't badmouth any offensive lineman from Iowa. They
or
just
tight ends.
Nope.
They
yeah,
they were they go hand in hand in
Or
Iowa.
that's
linebacker.
it. Yeah, and I mean, and Parker Brailsford and Logan Jones are both considered scheme fits for running wide zone or stretch run offenses. That's kind of what we do.
Right.
And some of these guys like Brian Parker the second and Matt Gublin from Michigan State are both recognized for their ability to start at center and guard. That might be somebody that you take a look at because he's a guy that you can start at center, and then in a couple years, uh, contracts are over for Lewis and Hunt. You never know when you're going to
Yeah.
need to switch them two around a little bit or how situations. And listen, if you got a rookie guy who's looking really good at center and uh, guard, and you ended up finding somebody in free agency that you can plug at center, and you realize, hey, let's not push the rookie. Let the rookie back up at center and guard. You're coming out at a notch ahead from the rest of these guys who can only play center.
Yeah, that's very valuable. I mean, Brady Christian was that guy for us. Though injuries, what held him back. I truly believe Brian Parker can be that guy. And if we do end up drafting him, which I would be absolutely happy as hell that we draft him, because like I said, like you just got done saying, Pickle. I mean, the dude can play multiple positions, and that's truly valuable, especially when you need a guy to step up for an injured player. He can just be a plug and play type of
Mhm.
guy.
Yes, sir.
This looks like
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
a hot mess to me. I don't like this situation whatsoever. I mean, you're saying there's not a guy at center that we're really looking at as a good first round pick other than Lou. And the thing about it is we've got an injured left tackle and we don't know how long. And traditionally that injury is bad. I
Right.
know Jake said something about week 4. That's not typically how this injury goes. Typically this injury ends careers or can end careers. Is that bad for offensive linemen? So I know
Scared.
Panthers fans don't want to hear something like this, but possibly you think about taking that tackle in the first round, the
I'm
guy that,
telling you, these.
that may or may not start this year, but will eventually replace Moten. And then you look in the third round and you're drafting a center, more depth for the interior
Yes,
line in
sir.
case they
Mhm.
get a guy in here, and it's not going to be a guy like Pickle was talking about that just suffered an ACL. Even if they know the guy, they believe in the guy, they're not going to bring him in off an ACL injury like that. Not likely, in
Right.
case it's just a league minimum contract or something crazy. People aren't going to bring him in hoping that he can replace somebody later down the line, especially going into the 2027 season. They're looking for solutions in 2026. So I don't like this situation at all. And if you're a Panthers fan, you probably shouldn't like this situation at all because what do we want to fix up? We want to fix up the defense. We want to draft some defensive
Right.
players and get the
Exactly.
defense better. But now we're back to square one where we're the highest paid offensive line in the league. And we're looking, saying, well, we need more pieces. We don't just need one piece, we need multiple pieces. And this is where it makes me feel like we're going to end up with Austin Corbett as our center this season. And
Ooh.
ultimately, what that means, Cole, is somebody else is going to be finishing center this season. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I
you
was
ain't
going to
wrong.
ask how long, my
You're not
Yeah,
wrong,
I,
bees.
I agree. That's
Hmm.
why I was a little hot today on Twitter was because I kept looking and I didn't see a good way out of this whole situation. Trust me, y'all. I said it before, and and Creed Humphreys is a guy who should be a Carolina Panther. But some idiot GM said, no, golly jeez, we're going to draft Terrence Marshall Jr. because our current offensive coordinator liked him. The same offensive coordinator we fired a few weeks later, a few months later.
And now he's the head coach of Buffalo.
Yeah. And where's Terrence Marshall Jr.? Completely out of the league. So, and then a few years ago, there was a center that I absolutely loved. I loved two centers in that draft. One went earlier than we could have drafted him, and I respected that. That happens. The other, we bounced around up and down the board. We took this running back who spent the last 2 years on injured reserve.
Don't start that
So
shit.
what did we do? Instead of drafting Zach Frazier, a stud rookie center under a rookie contract for the Pittsburgh Steelers, we took Jonathan Brooks to spend 2 years on IR. Bleep it.
Yeah, I mean, biggest mistake Dan's made. I mean, that's fine. We'll give him that.
Mistakes happen. Mistakes happen.
It does.
He screwed that up. You called it out. This facts. We have to admit it. It wasn't the right call. They took a risk on a guy that it didn't pan out. But the upside was very up. He had a high ceiling. There's a lot of room. I mean, the few plays he's got, he's making guys miss in ways that running backs for this team didn't do this year. And that's just facts. The potential's there. And that's what we gambled on. We gambled on the potential. But unfortunately, the injury came back. And like Cole said many times, it's going to just be hard for him to do anything at this point. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I hope it works out for us and the Panthers and Jonathan Brooks. But more than likely, it's just not going to go that way. But we can hope for it.
Right, absolutely.
It's gonna get interesting.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm gonna try to be positive. I've been very, very shitty about Brooks. I'm gonna try to be better, but it's devastating to me and how much it's crippled our run game.
Well, he's a young man, and I can cheer for the.
He don't want to be hurt. I acknowledge that.
Yeah.
What was you about to say, Kyle?
I was just about to say, I like what Cole said on Twitter earlier about blowing up the running back room. I mean, I'm not horribly against it, but I still feel like it's still too early in Chuba's contract to let him go before it starts being beneficial for the team. So I think he has to stay. But ETN muffed a bunch of kicks last year. Wasn't really effective in the running game. That could be due to meaningful snaps or meaningful reps in practice with the ones. But
Kyle, about the running backs room, I think Dan is rebuilding it already.
Quietly, hopefully.
But we don't know that, and we won't know that. I think one of the things that the biggest, the only difference on this list here was a guy from Kansas City, but this who's got high IQ, he's a guy that may be there on someone Saturday because Kansas State went unranked, I believe. Anyway.
There's only one guy I would add to your list, Pickle, and that's Pat Coogan from Indiana.
Okay.
He's got the versatility to play center and guard, and he was on that Indiana team.
Right. Yeah, you can't go wrong with anybody on that Indiana team. You are damn right.
He's big. He's like 6'5", 325. He's big. He's strong. He's like known for good pass protection. That's what he's going to be a fifth round guy, so like you're going to be able to snatch him easy.
Right. So,
yeah.
But talking about running back, next year the Panthers could save $6 million by cutting Chuba Hubbard.
But what if we cut him this year?
Well, then if you better do it after June. If you do it after June, you're going to save $1.4 million on your roster cap.
Hold on,
right. So if you leave him on the roster, you save $5.
Let me finish though. Okay, you're going to save 4 million if you cut him after June, but you're going to have 6 million dead money.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Then it's not
So
saving shit.
right now, but
But at the end of the
if
season,
right, but if hypothetically say come training camp, Jonathan Bush looks like a stud, Trevor's looking like a stud, you ended up picking somebody in free agency, and all of a sudden they look like a stud. The Patriots call and say we need a running back. We're going to give you a 4th-round pick for Chuba. You say sure. You're going to save 5.6 million or 5.9 million, and only have 1.5 million as dead cap.
right?
So it would save you. So long story short, what I'm trying to say is I don't necessarily believe Chuba's going to be here for his entire contract. But
No.
if you're Dan Morgan and you drafted Jonathan Brooks to be that 1-2 punch with Chuba,
Oh, he should
just
run him
like
into the ground because he drafted.
just like just like they drafted Christian McCaffrey when they already had Jonathan Stewart under contract.
Yeah.
But Brooks gets hurt. Brooks is still hurt. And
Yeah.
right now you
He's
have
still
to
a question
wonder,
mark.
right now, and if you're Dan Morgan and you go ahead and trade Chuba for anything, right? You just trade him just because you want to trade him. You're going to say, we're going to go with Jonathan Brooks and Trevor. That's our two guys. And Brooks looked like warmed over dog crap because he can't run, ain't got no burst off that bad leg now. Then you're screwed up. And also, you're going to put Trevor Etienne, the guy who seems to fumble a lot. Yeah, that's a bad choice. So then you're on advertisement in the on the internet. Was any available guy who can play running back? Please apply. That's where you're at. So it's really a bad situation to dump Chuba. Chuba may not be the best, and he ain't. And I'll confess he ain't. But he's the guy that you know is going to be ready by camp to come in and play. He's a great locker room. He doesn't cause you issues. And yeah, he's a guy that you know by the start of camp is going to be ready to play. You know that already.
He
He already
causes
Yeah.
me issues, Pickle. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
Chuba's an effort guy. I'll give it to him. I don't think there's too many more people that tries harder than Chuba.
right.
I'm not saying he's got the best abilities in the world. He just
No,
works
he
with what
don't.
he's got. I'll
He
give him
don't.
that.
But he just does what he can, and that's what he can. And a lot of people were high on uh Rico, but Rico fizzled out as he did with the Cowboys. He came, he saw,
Yep.
he fizzled up, and then fizzled out.
Speaking of
well,
running somebody into the ground,
Hmm.
yeah, we
we
run him
did
into
do
the
that.
ground. Yeah, you can't run for 200 yards every game. I don't know if you're fizzling out because you stopped running for 200 yards a game. And this is a guy that proved in Rico Dowdle that proved he could run for 1,000 last year, and he ran for 1,000 this year.
Hmm.
And with Chuba Hubbard, he had injuries last season. It held him out of games. It slowed him down. He wasn't as effective. He didn't look like himself when he was on the field. When he finally got healthy, he was playing well. And you got to remember the year before this. This is a guy that rushed excuse me, a guy that rushed for almost 1,200 yards and was like fifth in the league in rushing yards. He's not that bad. He just didn't have a great year last year because of his injuries to his calves and whatever he went through sitting behind
Right.
Rico trying to get whatever carries he could. When Rico was scorching the ground that he ran on at 200 yards a game, and so it makes sense that that Chuba didn't get those carries, didn't get the chance to get in the rhythm. He wasn't the bell cow guy that he was the year before because of the injuries and the way that Rico played. And I still think we've got good things there in either one of those running backs, but I don't know how much Panthers are invested into it long term. Now they're invested in it to Chuba a lot because of the things that you mentioned. Him being a locker room guy, him being the last guy off the field, him constantly putting in the work and showing other players how to do it. So I think they're invested in Chuba and they're going to continue to be that way. But it doesn't mean that they won't give somebody meaningful snaps in that backfield. And no, I don't think it's ETN. I really don't. He had struggles on punt return. Maybe he's not our punt returner going forward. And I'm not saying he's not a guy that can't be third in the depth chart in the halfback room. It's just they got to figure out what they got going on with Brooks, and they've got to do it before the season starts because they got to bring in somebody to challenge and be in that second running back position because I feel like that Chuba's going to be the guy again this upcoming season. I mean, I really do. I think Chuba's going to be the guy, and they're going to be looking for another running back to complement him in case that Brooks isn't ready to go or 100% healthy. So you could look for another late round draft pick at halfback, or maybe a veteran guy that they bring in who hasn't seen a lot of success. But I wouldn't expect to see Rico Dowdle back because of how he's done over the past 2 seasons. He's going to be the number one starting running back for some team in the NFL. I would about bet on that. I feel real confident about those facts, guys. So I don't know how much rebuilding we're really going to do in the halfback room. Understand that for a lot of fans, it wouldn't hurt their feelings to move on from Chuba. But from what he's done over the past 2 years, not so much last season, I don't see it happening. I think he's our starting halfback next season, guys.
And
So y'all don't think we're going after Kenneth Walker the third?
I hope we are with
I,
every ounce of my being.
I mean, a
I don't
phone
think so.
call. I think the phone call's gonna be like, "How much do you want a year?" Oh, that much? Oh, never mind. I think that's how the phone call. Like seriously, I think that's how the phone call is going to be. Is they're going to ask him how much he wants, and we've know over the last few years the running back market's been severely underpaid according to a lot of people. And I mean, I'm not going to disagree to that, but at the same time, like these running backs that's getting over 1,000 yards, like Rico's going to get more money than Chuba. He just is a lot. Kenneth Walker, he's going to get more money than Chuba as well. I think it's very interesting this free agency for running backs to really pay attention to how much they get paid because I mean that's what's going to decide if we can get a running back, maybe not top 6, 7, but we can get a guy lower down that's still got pretty good amount of value, still got a lot of trend on the tires that we can use the third string running back so to speak. But I like I said, Kenneth Walker, I truly believe the conversation is going to be how much do you want, and it's going to just be too much for us to entertain to put into that room. Just like a lot of people's wanting us to attack the tight end room. I just think it's too much money to go into certain positions that we don't necessarily use enough for Dave Canal's scheme, so to speak,
I feel that,
anyways.
Jacob. We
And
can't validate that shit right now.
Well,
I think we have to spend that more so into the linebacker room, which I'm
Because we're
I
crippled right there,
we
bud.
have to. I don't care if you watch football. If you watch the Carolina Panthers, you're a Carolina Panthers fan. You know that the number one position that we're going to have to attack this offseason is the linebacker room. It's one of.
Oh
Look,
yeah.
I love the pass rusher as just as much as anybody else, but linebacker to me is the number one need, and we're going to have to attack that.
right.
It's a good take, Jacob.
Right, and there's going to be some free agent wide running backs out there. You really don't. The running back room in this year is going to be in free agency. It's going to be a little bit high. You got Bryce Hall from the Jets, who's only 25. He's going to be a free agent. Then you've got Trevor Et, the running back, the brother who played for Jaguars of our guy, is going to be a free agent. And he has
Watch
connections,
out for that.
not only his brother, but his also. I mean, let's be honest. If he's sitting out there right before camp, and the Panthers haven't made a deal with another running back, and we have three running backs, we have Chuba, Jonathan Brooks, and Trevor, and a bunch of who's my buckets. You never know when that might line up. They'll say, "Hey, bring Trevor in here. Let him line up with his brother. Maybe he can teach his brother a thing or two." You know, you know, we already talked to just Kenneth Walker. Javonte Williams signed a big contract with the Cowboys.
And they
Tyler
weren't even that
Algier,
big, Pickle. I just looked
yeah,
It
that up.
wasn't.
what Tyler
How much do
Algier?
y'all think he's getting per year?
I
I
don't
I got.
won't throw in it. I want to hear y'all's guesses.
I'm gonna look it up.
I
7.
didn't
No.
even. I didn't.
Well,
He's
even
a
I'm not.
solid. He's a solid ass running back. This
about
is not a
5-6
knock on
million
him.
a year.
I'm gonna say
No,
I'm not
he's getting
without looking it
8.
up. 7. Oh,
8.
okay.
8.
Okay. Well, then you got Tyler Algier, a Falcons running back, who did real good in a 1-2 punch with Bijan Robinson. Then you got Kenneth Gainwell, Les from Steelers. He's a pretty decent running back in himself for the Steelers. Rochelle White,
Gainwell's a
uh,
pass catcher.
right? Rochelle White from Tampa Bay. Now Canales and Brad Isaac both have experience with him. Then you have Brian Robinson Jr. and Rico. Then you got Rico again. So you never know. Rico may have a desire to be a bell cow, walk out in free agency, realize it's not going to happen. So he says, well, if I'm going to play as a swap or 1-2 punch guy, it might as well be with a team I already know and like and re-sign with the Panthers. You never know about these things. Then you got
Yeah.
Isaiah Pecco, who I think he was hurt. He tried to rebound. Uh, I think he's lost a little bit, stepwise. GK J.K. Dobbins, who
Same thing.
really has a lot of issues staying healthy. So, like I said, there's depth guys out there. So that and Najee Harrison, former first round pick, is available. So you've got depth there if you need to go that route. So it's
Oh
running
yeah.
back. If you're just adding an extra guy in the room, I wouldn't really deal with it until probably closer to camp, unless someone calls you.
Yeah.
So
Well, I appreciate coming on the show, but I got a hot
all right,
date. I gotta get out of here.
all right, man.
Appreciate you,
Appreciate
Enjoy
it.
it,
pal.
my
Thank you for
friend.
joining the show, brother.
I appreciate
Uh-huh.
y'all having this up, and I'm gonna keep trying to make them.
Absolutely. You're welcome anytime, brother.
Keep pounding, boys.
Keep pounding.
Later,
Later,
man.
Kyle.
I figure out how to get out of
Just close the damn computer. Mute yourself.
here.
Good. I used that kick feature. I never kicked the speaker out. I
There
always
you go.
He did it for his own good. It works.
He got Das Boot.
All right.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think we made some really good points on the halfback room.
Right.
I think that if you're watching this show, then you just kind of need to make your own decision as
Right.
we've kind of laid it out here. There's a lot of different directions that the Panthers can go. There's a lot of different options throughout the league for Dan Morgan. Depends on what he pursues. So make your own decision. Let us know in the comments what you think or in the chat. What direction does Dan Morgan go? Who's here and who's not? We'd love to know your thoughts. Go ahead, Pick.
Yeah, real quick, folks, you also hit the like button and subscribe to the content. I very much appreciate it, y'all. You don't have to watch the live show. If you hit the like and subscribe and you just want to tune into it on your way to work or on home from work or play it in your headset while you're mowing the grass, that's fine too. Just real quick though, he's talking about offensive tackle, and I guess I'll let Cole chat more about the defense come Thursday. But
Yes, sir.
talk about the offensive tackle. We know Rasheed Walker from the Packers is going to be available.
He's really good.
Right, exactly. And I didn't really pull up a list, so I'll just read some to you. All right, now he is good. He's a former 7th-round pick who's emerged as a great pass blocker left tackle. He's only 26 years old, hitting free agency. I don't think we can afford him. I don't think we're going to afford him. You got a guy formerly from the New York Giants. I know he's played for the Raiders at one point. Jermaine Elgamore. He's 31. He's excellent pass protection, but he is 31. And some of these I'm going to skip, but Braxton Jones, an offensive tackle from the Bears, who's 27. He played left tackle and right tackle at times. He did miss some of 2025 with an injury, so he should rebound pretty well. Then you got Jaden Smith, an starting offensive tackle for the Colts. He's coming off a solid year, but he has injury and psychological concerns in his past. Then you got Larry Broom with the Dolphins. He was with the Rams at one point. He's 27. Cam Robinson, then you go Nas Nyman and Jonah Williams and Jameer Slater. He can play tackle or guard. He's that gentleman that was a mid-round pick that started at left tackle for a few years, for a year for the Chargers. Then he ended up kicking to guard. But he can play guard and tackle. He's a guy that I would actually target in free agency. Jameer Slayer, Salyer, for the Chargers. I didn't realize he was going to hit free agency, to be honest about it.
Wait, what position does he play, Pickle?
Tackle.
Tackle or guard.
Is he? The reason I'm asking this, is that the dude from Georgia?
Yes.
If he's from,
yes.
He's an animal. No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
he
exactly
was,
why I asked that. Then.
Yeah, he was. Let me see. He was selected in the 6th round by the Chargers in
Really?
2022, and
Well, it's
that's
higher than that for some
yeah
reason. It's
the
not.
year before the Chargers starting the offensive tackle that Matt Rule didn't want to draft because he had short arms for the Chargers. Remember
Yes.
who I'm talking about? Well,
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but I
yeah.
remember
Well,
that whole
the
discussion.
very next draft, they drafted this guy in later rounds, kind of your swing guy. You're going to develop on guy. Well, when it come to pass, that that their starting left tackle missed some time for injuries, and this guy stepped right in, looked good, but they wanted to find a starting job for him the next year, so they kicked him to guard, and he became their guard. But he does whenever they got an injury, he steps in at tackle. So and but like I said, he can play left tackle or guard. He's a guy that I would bring in and replace Brady Christensen with. Absolutely.
I agree.
This guy's only 26 years old.
I got a bad taste in my mouth from Christensen's last few times. I don't know whether I'm just overreacting, but he has some terrible reps. I feel like he's getting just blasted like on his back.
Right.
Unfortunately, Pickle, that's also what caused Icky was an absolute bull rush, and he fell down and lifted his legs, and the defensive end's weight fell all on top of his legs and just crushed it.
Yeah, that was a
was a
horrible
bad play.
situation. Oh, I still see that same exact play in my mind right now as you talked about it.
I mean, the injury is unfortunate, but the rep right there was god awful. I hate it for him as much as I love Icky, but Jesus, he got destroyed.
Yeah. He did.
Bad time of the year to have that. I'm with these, though. I think that's going to be long term. I could be overreacting, but I bet he's out at least 10 weeks, if that, if season. You don't know how he's going to respond to any of that
Right.
shit. Everybody's different.
There's going to be many people that are going to disagree with what I'm about to say, and that's fine because I can see both ways, definitely. But I would be more so, in my opinion, signing a veteran center, or top tier center, either re-signing K Mays, in my opinion, or going after Linderbaum. And I don't know if we're going to be able to afford Linderbaum, but still, I think signing one of those guys and signing a cheaper veteran left tackle, but drafting a rookie
That sounds great.
well.
I
rather
ain't
do
mad at
that.
none of that. I'm not mad
I'd
at
rather
none
do
of
that
that.
combination than going the way, because I don't care how you think about it. If you want a premier left tackle, the guy that Pickle just got done talking about, Walker, I don't know if it was Walker, that left tackle for Green Bay, regardless,
Right.
that he is going to command. He's going to be top pay. He is going to be the top pay free agent left tackle in free agency, 100%. The dude's relatively young. He's 26 years old. He is going to get top pay. Left tackles always get paid more than centers, and he is going to get paid more than Linderbaum is going to be. I promise you that. Somebody's going to throw the bag at him. It's just going to happen.
All right. Now, let me ask another question.
Oh, no.
Just because I'm going to. Right now, if we wish to trade this gentleman, we can. Well, not right now. Okay.
He said not right now.
After June, we could trade this gentleman and save $19 million off our cap, and only have $5.3 million in dead cap. Now, my question for everyone is real simple. If the only reason why we can't afford a high quality center is because we can't afford one, then maybe we should trade a guard and draft a center, or sign a center and then draft a filling guard, or draft a tackle or sign a tackle and then kick Icky in a guard when he gets home.
Let me throw a question back at you, Pickle. Which one of them guards are you trading?
Robert Hunt. Damian Lewis is better guard than Robert Hunt is. Robert Hunt gets the attention.
He's been healthier.
He's
He's
right,
also been
and
healthier.
Damian Lewis
Damian
has
Lewis
been
has
healthy.
had some. He's had
Yeah,
some bumps, but he hasn't been out a whole damn near a whole season like Robert Hunt was. I
right,
will say
exactly,
that.
exactly.
But Robert Hunt, though, man, when he's healthy, oh my
Yeah,
God, that is a mammoth, behemoth
right,
train running that
right,
defensive
right,
lineman. And I'm talking about
right.
pancake after pancake. Would you like some more? You should have some more.
Yeah, y'all know good and well him being out hurt the running game this year. It
Oh,
had
it.
to.
Oh, 100%.
Yo,
It did.
It
absolutely.
had to hurt the
Hmm.
running game this year. And
Hmm.
I would look more for a restructure on those two guys,
Yeah, that sounds great.
on Hunt and Lewis to free up some money. I mean, let's look at what the cheaper route is, okay? The cheaper route is to find a guy that can play multiple positions in the center that's probably starting at center in between your two powerhouse guards. So you can probably take a lesser guy, not particularly Austin Corbett, but you can take a lesser veteran guy and put him in the center between those two good guards and have him experience some success, or at least I would hope so, because we saw Cade Mays be quite successful. If you look at his PFF scores, it was one of the higher ones on the offensive line this past season. So with that being said, if you can't afford Linderbaum, you can't afford Cade Mays, and you need to go another route, find you a guy that can play multiple positions in the center and possibly start center for you, a guy that's a veteran that doesn't cost a ton of money, and you're relying on Lewis and Hunt to carry him, and then you end up drafting that tackle. You could end up even waiting as long, and this would be the perfect Panthers story, if we could wait all the way until the third round and draft a developmental tackle, and then let him sit behind Nyman this year, and then eventually replace Moten when Moten's done in a few seasons. Now, that's the storybook ending for the Panthers, but unfortunately, that's not how things go on the offensive line for the Panthers. If you've been a Panthers fan for a while, you know that usually things break apart, people get hurt, whatever. The whole plan seems to collapse from underneath our feet. And hopefully that's definitely what happened last year with all that depth we had on the offensive line. It all got evaporated quite quickly. But maybe this year things will be different. We'll have a little better health, and we can be a little more top heavy on the offensive line and not have to have the amount of depth that we had last year. If that's the case, Pickle, I think we can make it through next season fine. But that seems kind of like a long shot right now. But how do you feel about at least trying something like that where we're drafting a tackle later and developing behind who we have, and we're finding somebody that can serve us for the interim the next couple years at center or guard?
I like that. I really do like that. I like that a lot. That sounds like a smart way of doing business. We as I said before, we Panther fans don't always think the correct successful way, but uh, everybody loves the Panthers, and they fan in their own way, in their own shape. So that's all right.
Well, that's the cool thing about it.
Right.
I would build my team differently than you would build your team, and Jake
Absolutely.
would be different as well, and
Hmm.
everyone in the chat would do it different also. So
Right.
we're here to hear those opinions, and we're here to rattle them out and bounce them off of each other and talk about it. So let's figure out how we or how you would put together this offensive line. I've given you my best ideas for it, and I think Cole, you want to jump in on it too? You hadn't had a chance.
Having some audio issues. Give me 1 minute. Can we come back to me?
Yeah, you're cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Real quick while we wait for Cole. Let's pop this up real quick. Y'all, the NFL Combine is here this week, yo, and what a tremendous combine it is. Uh, the combine right now they're doing check-ins and stuff like this right now, and evaluations and press conferences, and like for the first couple of days, you're going to see a lot of press conferences. You're going to see conversations. You're going to see weigh-ins and stuff like that, and the medicals are all going on right now. The actual work uh, is going to take place Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Um, and you and as they start from 3 to 8, the defensive linemen and linebackers, are going to be aired. Now, this is what's going to be aired on NFL Network. And then Friday, the 27th, February the 27th, from 3 to 8. These are Eastern Standard Times. You're going to have the defensive back and tight ends. Then on Saturday, March the 28th, from 1 to 8, you'll have quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs. Then Sundays, from 1 to 5, you're going to have offensive linemen. Now, I'm going to try to watch some of these and try to give y'all a scoop a little bit. But please pay attention. You absolutely never know when we do a watch along. So that's possible. Like I said, they'll be aired on, and the press conference will all be on NFL Network, and you can stream it on NFL Plus or by your connected TV or phone. Um, some of the noticeable drills are the bench press, 40-yard dash, vertical jump, broad jump, three-cone drill, 20-yard shuttle, and a 60-yard shuttle.
Yeah, it's crazy every year how much the combine affects the NFL draft. We'll see guys really rise up the board or really fall down the board depending on how
Absolutely.
they did. I remember Anthony Richardson was the one that really comes to mind. He absolutely crushed the combine, ended up drafted in the top three or whatever it was, I believe it was, and things haven't panned out for him so far. But the combine was really where he got his big launching pad in a lot of ways. So we think about guys who struggled in the combine, like Tyler Shuh. They really clowned him hard after the combine, making him sound like a really clown, horrible, awful quarterback. But yet he played pretty well for the Saints this season, and even had a run at Rookie of the Year or Offensive Rookie of the Year. So the combine is important to this. And like we said, this offseason doesn't stop the NFL. Just because the season's over doesn't mean the NFL has stopped moving. We're still moving forward, working and churning, working our way towards 2026. And these events in the combine matter a lot. And it matters a lot to the Panthers. They have their draft board set. We know they have 600 people or more that they're looking at already. But some guys may be added to that list depending on how they perform during this combine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100% true. Uh, and there's been stories all along, and some of these players ain't going to do some things, and some will wait till pro days. And there's actually a couple of head coaches, the Rams head coach and GMs, and the Jacksonville Jaguars head coach and GM are not attending the combine. They're going to do film study instead, and actually get players they're interested in to come to them. And it all varies on how a lot of teams are doing it that way. Um, so a lot of that is just going to depend on how they they do that as an organization. Uh, but um, but again, we'll have the Cold Show Thursday. Um, we may pop in and do an extra live show at some point.
We
If
absolutely should.
especially on Saturdays and Sundays, the offensive linemen and the quarterbacks and receivers. We could also do a show and actually go back and watch some of the drills from the defensive backs and tight ends or defensive linemen and linebackers. That's possible too. We'll probably end up doing that. So y'all pay attention to doing that. Um, I know there's going to be some other podcasters are making live shows during these times. You never know when you see one of us drop in on one of them shows. Uh, y'all, I think that's about all I got. Uh, Anybody else got something they want to bring up or conversate with?
I do very, very quickly, Pickle, because I do want to answer your question before we rock out.
I,
I,
just a minute,
I
just a
think
minute.
to
J
go
Rock,
ahead, what you got?
I believe that we should keep JJ around until he's a grand old 50 years old. I think that's what we need to do.
Hey, Pickle, as long as he's gonna be driving that golf cart and being an echo extra referee in a football game, I'm all for him. We can sign him till he passes out on the field.
Absolutely. All right. Um, Cole, go ahead, brother.
Oh yeah, very quickly. I think the first thing we got to do is get that center position right. Whether you invest in that early or go ahead and spend money on that. When you're
Hmm.
talking about fixing the O line and improving that, icky situation is going to be icky situation. You know you're going to lose at least one, maybe two of them permanently pretty soon. So I would assume a high investment needs to be made in the guard, not the guard, but the tackle position as well. And then on top of that, every single day we have to pray for Wilson and Hunt's health to remain a positive and no injuries there. So it's very, very important. Bryce needs all of that to be able to thrive and put us where we need to be. So that'll be the most important thing going into the season. I feel like how the line's going to play.
Hmm. Absolutely. Well,
Yeah, J Rock said he's having trouble getting notifications when we're live, and that's real disappointing to hear. I want to know if other people are having that same issue. Make sure you do got the noti bells cut on, so you do get those
us
notifications.
right.
Go ahead, Pickle.
Sometimes it helps if you go on that bell and you totally unsubscribe, refresh your page, and then subscribe back. That's what I have done to actually C3 before. Because I used to subscribe to C. I still subscribe to C3. Several other uh, podcasts I subscribe to. Most of the time I don't get them, and that's how I get them. Is I'll go to them, unsubscribe, refresh my page, and resubscribe like I'm brand new. That helps me quite a bit.
Michael says he's getting them, so that's good. Thanks for letting us
Yes,
know,
sir.
Michael. Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. Appreciate y'all.
Perfect condition.